They didn't expect your exit to be permanent. They told themselves you were just taking space, just cooling off, just waiting to be pulled back by familiarity. What shattered them was realizing you never circled back, not out of revenge, but out of self-recognition. They feel rejected not because you left, but because you never looked back for validation. Your absence didn't beg for explanation. It stood complete on its own. They thought distance would soften you into nostalgia. Instead, distance sharpened your self-respect into something unmovable. They expected your return to confirm their importance. What broke them was discovering your return was no longer necessary. They feel rejected because your life continued without consulting their memory. You didn't pause at the door of the past. You closed it. They hoped time would weaken your decision. They didn't realize time was strengthening your boundary with every quiet day. They assumed your worth lived in their recognition of you. What unsettles them now is knowing your worth never required their approval. They feel rejected because you didn't come back to renegotiate your dignity. You kept it intact and carried it forward. They expected longing to make you pliable. They underestimated how powerfully peace can anchor someone in place. They thought your love would override your limits again. They didn't anticipate the moment your limits finally outranked your longing. They feel rejected because your silence doesn't ache for them. It doesn't call their name. It breathes without them. They are unsettled that your independence didn't look dramatic. It looked steady, and steadiness frightened them more than anger ever could. They thought you would need closure through their understanding. They didn't see that your closure arrived through self-recognition. They feel rejected because you didn't try to be understood anymore. You chose to be finished instead. They expected your memory to soften into regret. What they discovered was that your memory matured into discernment. They told themselves you would return out of habit. They didn't realize you broke the habit by changing the meaning of home. They feel rejected because your growth didn't include them. Your future stopped reserving space for their past. They hoped loneliness would send you back searching. They didn't realize solitude had become quieter than staying ever was. They assumed you would be pulled by history. They didn't account for the force of self-respect rewriting gravity. They feel rejected because your worth didn't collapse without their presence. It expanded. They believed your leaving was emotional. They didn't expect it to be philosophical, to be rooted in principle instead of pain. They feel rejected because your return would have meant they still held emotional authority over you. Your absence took that authority away. They waited for you to soften with time. They didn't realize you hardened into clarity instead. They feel rejected because you broke the unspoken agreement to always come back. You rewrote the rules without malice. They expected explanation to reopen the door. They didn't realize explanation was no longer required where certainty lived. They feel rejected because you didn't need a villain to justify your leaving. You simply needed yourself. They thought your staying had once proved your loyalty. They didn't consider your leaving would become the truest proof of it to your own life. They feel rejected because you chose yourself without apology. That kind of choice exposes every place they expected you to shrink. They believed your heart would overrule your standards again. They didn't expect your standards to finally protect your heart. They feel rejected because your future stopped narrating their relevance. They became context, not consequence. They assumed your return was an inevitability. They never prepared for your permanence. They feel rejected because you didn't come back wounded. You came back to yourself whole. They wanted your departure to hurt you more than it hurt them. What unsettles them is realizing it healed you. They feel rejected because they expected regret. What you gave them was resolution. They imagined your leaving as collapse. It became construction. They feel rejected because you didn't choose distance as punishment. You chose it as alignment. And this is the truth that finally settles into the silence they can't escape. You didn't stay away to teach them a lesson. You stayed away because you learned one. You didn't leave because you hated them. You left because you finally respected yourself. You didn't return because your worth was no longer something you were willing to bargain with. They feel rejected because they still measure value by who comes back. You don't. You measure value by who you no longer abandon yourself for. And that is why your leaving became permanent, not because they were unlovable, but because you finally became unavailable to anything that asked you to be smaller than your worth. They keep waiting for the version of you who once doubted your own value, not realizing that version dissolved the moment you chose yourself without hesitation. They feel rejected because you didn't upgrade your life with them still attached to the blueprint. You redesigned the whole structure without keeping their shadow in the frame. They feel rejected because your healing didn't require their apology, their growth, or their acknowledgement. You healed without their participation. They believed your silence meant you were struggling. What they didn't accept was that your silence meant you were finally effortless. They feel rejected because your peace didn't wobble when their memory tried to re-enter. It stood firm like a boundary carved into stone. They assumed your identity was shaped around them. What shattered them was realizing you had an identity that thrived without them. They feel rejected because your strength looks natural now, not forced. It scares them how well it fits you. They thought your love once defined you. They didn't expect your self-respect to redefine everything. They feel rejected because your absence has weight, not emptiness. It carries intention, not longing. They believed nostalgia would pull you backward. They didn't realize nostalgia now feels foreign inside the life you built forward. They feel rejected because you didn't replace them with another version of the same mistake. You replaced the entire pattern. They assumed you would grieve them loudly. You grieved quietly and finished early. They feel rejected because they can't still reach you emotionally to confirm their importance. Your inaccessibility rewrote their role. They thought your return was a matter of timing. They didn't understand it was a matter of standards. They feel rejected because your confidence no longer seeks external permission. It stands alone. They believed your worth once depended on how deeply you loved them. They didn't realize your worth now depends on how deeply you protect yourself. They feel rejected because your life stopped referencing their relevance entirely. You moved from reaction into direction. They thought your leaving was impulsive. They didn't realize it was the most deliberate decision you ever made. They feel rejected because you didn't come back in pieces. You came back to yourself whole. They expected your strength to be temporary. They didn't expect it to become your baseline. And this is where the truth finally locks into permanent shape, beyond doubt, beyond reversal, beyond emotional negotiation. You didn't leave to be chased. You didn't leave to prove a point. You didn't leave to test their love. You left because you finally understood your value in a way that could not be unlearned. They feel rejected because they still believe that people return to what once hurt them. If they loved it enough, you prove something else entirely. You prove that love without self-respect is not loyalty, it is erosion. You prove that absence can be an act of dignity. You proved that your worth was never something they granted you. It was something you finally claimed. They feel rejected because you never went back. But the truth is simpler and far more powerful than that. You didn't go back because you never abandoned yourself again. And once that decision is made, nothing, not memory, not apology, not familiarity, has the authority to undo it. That is not rejection. That is self-sovereignty. And it is permanent. They feel rejected because your evolution did not ask for their permission. You didn't consult the past before choosing the future, and that omission unsettles them more than your departure ever did. They are disturbed because your life no longer leaks regret. It moves with forward pressure, not backward pull, and that makes their memories feel heavier than yours. They feel rejected because your joy doesn't reference them as a missing piece. It stands complete without footnotes, without apologies, without empty spaces waiting to be filled. They believed your leaving would eventually tire you out. What they didn't expect was how energizing it would become to finally live without self-betrayal. They feel rejected because your standards didn't soften with loneliness. So they're dialing numbers now, huh? Calling, texting, gossiping, whispering your name like a ghost they can't exorcise. They're desperate to know what happened to you, how you transformed, how the soft one they once mocked turned into a force that doesn't flinch, doesn't chase, doesn't explain. You've become their greatest mystery and their biggest regret. You see, once upon a time, you were predictable to them. They knew how to push your buttons, how to summon your emotions, how to twist your empathy until you broke. But something happened after the storm, didn't it? You went quiet, you went cold, and the silence became your sharpest weapon. Now they're terrified of the person who came out of that fire. You didn't just survive, you mutated. You took every scar, every betrayal, every insult, and built armor out of it. You learned that softness without boundaries is suicide. You learned that peace isn't found in their validation, but in your own indifference. And now, when they see you walking with that calm, they feel it like a slap to their ego. You don't chase anymore. You attract. You don't react. You observe. You've become unpredictable, unreadable, and to manipulators, that's the ultimate nightmare. They can't toy with what they can't control. They can't provoke what doesn't respond. Their biggest punishment? Watching you glow while they decay in confusion. Watching your calmness eat away at their delusions. Watching you walk through life untouched, unbothered, unchained. That's what haunts them. Every time they see your name pop up somewhere, every whisper of your success, it burns. Because in their mind, you were supposed to crumble. You were supposed to come crawling back, begging for crumbs of their counterfeit affection, but instead, you vanished and came back as a storm. Now, they're asking everyone what happened to you. They're calling old friends, checking social media, trying to piece together how someone they thought was weak became untouchable. Their pride can't handle it, because if you're winning without them, it means they weren't necessary, and that truth alone destroys them. You didn't announce your transformation, you showed it. Quietly, relentlessly. While they played pretend, you were rebuilding. While they sought attention, you sought power. While they crafted lies, you crafted your empire of peace. They thought ghosting you would hurt you. Instead, it freed you. They thought their absence would break you. Instead, it healed you. They thought walking away would make them superior. Instead, it made them irrelevant. You see, that's the part that kills them, the irrelevance. Narcissists don't fear losing people. They fear losing control. They're not sad that you're gone. They're enraged that you no longer care. And that apathy? It's louder than any revenge could ever be. Now, every time they talk about you, there's a bitterness in their tone. They pretend you don't matter, but you can hear the tremor beneath their fake laughter. They'll tell others you changed. But deep down, they know they created the very change that destroyed them. Your evolution is poetic justice. The manipulator is now the one obsessed. The liar is now haunted by truth. The betrayer now yearns for the loyalty they threw away. Karma didn't come knocking on their door, you became it. They're addicted to knowing how you became this calm, this dangerous, this radiant. But they'll never find the answer, because you outgrew the dimension they live in. They still dwell in gossip and games, while you dwell in silence and strategy. You didn't get this strong to prove a point. You did it because you had to. Because somewhere between all the pain and the chaos, you realized that your peace was the ultimate rebellion. You stopped feeding their ego, and that's when they starved. And oh, how they starve now. For your attention, for your reaction, for your warmth. But those days are over. You don't pour into empty cups anymore. You don't fix what was designed to break you. You don't dance for the applause of fools. You became something they can't define. They can't put you in a box anymore. Are you calm? Are you cold? Are you plotting? They don't know, and that uncertainty is pure torture for their inflated ego. Every move you make now drips with purpose. Every word you speak carries weight. You're not playing defense anymore, you're dictating the game. And they hate that. They hate that the person they underestimated turned into their mirror, reflecting everything ugly about them. Let them talk. Let them wonder. Let them try to diagnose your glow. Their confusion is your coronation. Their curiosity is your crown. They're spectators now, watching a show they can never again be a part of. And you've mastered the art of quiet revenge. Not with cruelty, but with excellence. Not by fighting, but by thriving. Because the sweetest revenge isn't payback, it's peace. The kind that can't be shaken, even when they whisper your name like a curse. They can't believe you're this unbothered. That's the irony. They tried to destroy your peace, and instead, they built it. Every betrayal was a brick, every insult a tool, every loss a lesson. And now you're untouchable. You became the blueprint they can't imitate. They study you now, the way you walk, the way you carry yourself, the way you no longer flinch at their games. You've become their silent obsession, their living karma. You no longer have to prove your worth, your existence alone does that. Your glow, your poise, your strength, all of it screams one truth they can't bear to face. They lost the best thing that ever happened to them. And oh, how beautifully they lost it. Not through chaos, but through calm. Not through fighting, but through silence. You walked away, and the sound of your footsteps became the echo that haunts their nights. They'll keep dialing, keep asking, keep wondering, but no answer will come. Because the version of you they once knew is gone, dead, buried, reborn into someone untouchable. And that, my friends, is the real horror story. Not the loss of love, not the end of a relationship, but the death of control. The realization that the puppet has cut the strings and is now dancing on its own stage. So let them panic, let them gossip, let them choke on curiosity. For the first time, they're feeling what they made you feel: uncertainty, confusion, powerlessness. And you're just watching from the shadows with a smile, the kind that makes the devil jealous, because now you finally understand peace looks good on you. Their fear, their regret, their sleepless nights, that's their penance. That's their karma. And you don't even have to lift a finger. The game is over. You won not because you destroyed them, but because you rebuilt yourself. Stronger, colder, wiser. They tried to end you, and instead, they created your legend. And now, as they scroll through your life from the sidelines, they can't help but notice something different: that aura, that unshakable calm that wasn't there before. It's not arrogance, it's not revenge, it's evolution. You wear your silence like a crown, and it terrifies them because they finally see what real power looks like, the kind that doesn't have to shout. You see, narcissists thrive on noise, chaos, arguments, emotional reactions. That's their fuel. But you cut off the supply. You became too quiet, too grounded, too focused. And when they realized their favorite source of attention had turned inward, they panicked, because your indifference, that's the one thing they can't manipulate. Now, when they tell your story to others, they sound like broken records. They try to paint you as the villain, but their voice cracks every time they do. Because deep down, they know it's not the truth that hurts them. It's your growth. It's your glow. It's the realization that their lies couldn't bury you, they only planted you. And here you are, rising from the dirt, laughing softly at the irony. They thought they were burying you, but they were just giving you soil to grow roots. Every tear watered your strength. Every heartbreak forged your discipline. And now, your peace is their punishment. Your silence, their sentence. So let them keep wondering, keep calling, keep trying to decipher the mystery that you've become. The truth is simple: they'll never understand what happened to you because they were never meant to. You evolved beyond their comprehension. You turned their betrayal into art, their cruelty into creation, and their chaos into calm. And that, my friend, is what drives them insane. You were soft once, weren't you? Gentle, kind, the type of soul that believed in healing people who were never ready to heal themselves. You believed love could fix what rot had already consumed. You thought if you gave enough, forgave enough, smiled enough, you could change them. But they mistook that sweetness for weakness. They fed on your kindness, drained your empathy, and laughed behind your back thinking they won. They never realized that the same heart they played with would one day stop beating for them. They took your warmth and your patience as an invitation to exploit. You offered them peace, and they returned it with chaos. They thought you'd never walk away because your loyalty blinded you to your own worth. Oh, how wrong they were. Because one day, something inside you broke, or maybe it awakened. And from that day forward, you were no longer their savior. You became their storm. Now, they're about to meet the version of you that doesn't flinch, doesn't beg, and doesn't bleed for anyone. You've evolved beyond emotion. You've sharpened your spirit into something unrecognizable. They used to think they could predict you, that they could manipulate your reactions, but the new you doesn't react. You calculate. You move in silence. You move like a ghost through the ruins they created. They played games, thinking you'd never learn the rules. But now, you hold the deck, and every card is marked with their name. They taught you deceit, manipulation, and betrayal, and you learned fast, too fast. You became what they feared most, someone they can't control, someone they can't read. They wanted a puppet, but they built a player. Your silence now speaks louder than any words you could ever say. Your indifference burns hotter than your old affection ever did. Every time they see your face, it stings. Because that face used to look at them with love, now it looks at them like a memory. That's what haunts them. The fact that you remember everything and forgive nothing. They thought your sweetness was eternal. They thought no matter how many times they twisted the knife, you'd still smile, still stay, still care. But even the softest rose grows thorns when it's mishandled too many times. You were gentle, but not weak. And now, you've stopped watering the garden that only grew weeds. Once upon a time, you gave warnings with kindness. Now, your silence is the warning. They never realized how cold a person can become when every ounce of warmth is stolen from them. Now they know. They can feel the frost in the air every time your name is mentioned. They'll see brutality not in your words, not in your hands, but in your peace. The calmness you carry now is lethal, because your brutality isn't chaos, it's indifference. You don't fight, you don't chase, you don't explain, you just don't care. And that terrifies them. They're not afraid of your rage, they're afraid of your control. Because when you smile now, it's not a smile of love, it's a smile of knowing. You've seen their true colors and you survived it. That kind of calmness, it's power. And it's a power they'll never understand. You used to be a candle trying to light their darkness. But candles burn out when they give too much, so you stopped burning and turned into fire. Now, they can't even stand your glow without getting scorched. They wanted your warmth, but they forgot what happens when warmth turns to heat. Their biggest mistake was thinking you'd never leave. Their second biggest mistake was thinking you'd never change. But you didn't just walk away, you ascended. You left the game entirely, and now they're left playing by themselves. You're the ghost in the room they can't forget. They whispered lies about you, hoping it would ruin your name. But all it did was expose theirs. People started watching, listening, noticing, and suddenly, the story didn't sound right. Because your evolution spoke louder than their gossip. You became living proof that no smear campaign can kill the truth. You no longer need revenge. Your success is revenge. Your peace is revenge. Every laugh, every breath of joy, every silent victory, it all cuts deeper than any word you could ever throw. You became untouchable the moment you stopped caring. They'll remember your gentleness, your kindness, the softness in your eyes. And now, that memory will haunt them, because they killed that version of you with their own hands and they can't bring it back. They'll miss the way you used to care, but it's gone, buried, peacefully. You're not cruel, you're just done. Done bleeding for people who never deserved your wounds. Done explaining yourself to ears that never listened. Done watering people who were never roots, just parasites. And that's not cruelty, that's wisdom. They'll call you heartless now, cold, unfeeling, but they'll never understand that this version of you was born in their chaos. You didn't wake up cold, you were frozen by their betrayal. Now, you simply refuse to thaw for anyone who doesn't deserve the heat. Every time they see your new self, they'll wonder how you did it, how you turned pain into power, how you transformed heartbreak into armor. But they'll never get the answer, because the moment they broke you, they lost the right to understand you. They'll test you again. They'll poke the past, hoping to see if it still hurts. But you'll just smile that cold, quiet smile and watch them squirm. Because pain doesn't live there anymore. Peace does. You stop chasing closure. You stop chasing explanations. You stop chasing them. Now, you only chase peace, and peace looks damn good on you. That's what burns them most. The fact that they couldn't destroy you. Every rumor they spread became another brick in your empire. Every insult they threw became fuel. They thought breaking you would silence you. Instead, it birthed a legend. They'll never say it out loud, but deep down, they know they created this version of you. They forced you to evolve. And now, you've surpassed them in every way possible. You're not the victim anymore, you're the warning. You're the proof that people can't play with hearts and walk away untouched. They'll watch you from afar, whispering, analyzing, obsessing, because the silence you left behind echoes louder than their noise ever did. You became the ghost they can't exorcise. You no longer exist in their world, but they exist in yours, as lessons. Their names are chapters you'll never reread, and that's what kills them. They're trapped in the story you've already finished. So now, every time they think of you, they'll feel a shiver down their spine. Because the one they mocked, the one they underestimated, the one they betrayed became something greater. You are not cold, you're just precise. You don't react, you decide. You don't beg, you choose. You don't chase, you attract. And every move you make now, they feel it like a tremor under their feet. They'll call you changed. You'll call it freedom. Because they'll never understand that the death of the old you wasn't tragedy, it was transformation. You didn't lose yourself. You found yourself in the ruins they left behind. And now, you walk with that eerie calmness, that terrifying peace that only survivors know. So the next time they see you calm, distant, dangerous, they'll whisper, "What happened to you?" And with that wicked little smirk, you'll tilt your head and say, "You did." They'll feel that answer echo through their bones, "You did." It's the truth they'll never recover from, because it forces them to face what they've done. Every sleepless night, every moment of silence, every haunting reminder of what they lost, it all ties back to that simple fact. They were the architects of their own downfall, and you were just the mirror reflecting it back at them. Now, they chase distractions, dive into fake smiles, try to fill the void with temporary people, but nothing hits the same. Because deep down they know what they lost wasn't replaceable. It wasn't luck. It wasn't coincidence. It was divine. You were a once-in-a-lifetime energy that they treated like it was disposable, and God doesn't give second chances like that twice. They'll try to convince themselves you were the problem, that you changed, that you became too cold, too distant, too powerful. But that's the thing, isn't it? They mistake evolution for arrogance. They mistake boundaries for bitterness. They mistake peace for punishment. But you know better, you simply outgrew the chaos they still feed on. And one day, when they see you glowing, not just surviving, but thriving, they'll feel that mix of awe and agony. Because no matter how much they try to forget, your energy will follow them like a curse. A silent reminder that they once had the sun, and they chose the shade. So when they come crawling back, trembling with guilt and regret, You won't need to raise your voice or seek revenge. You'll just smile that quiet, knowing smile, and let them realize on their own that your forgiveness was the last mercy they'll ever get. Ah, that smile. That small, almost invisible smirk, the one you gave right after they threw their insult like a dagger, that's what haunts them. They expected tears. They expected rage. They expected to see you crumble under their venom. But instead, you smiled. A quiet, dangerous, unbothered smile. And that moment, that tiny flicker of calm, it terrified them more than any scream ever could. You see, they thought they had power over your emotions. They believed they could push the right buttons, twist the right words, and watch you explode. But when you smiled, when you gave them nothing but silence wrapped in confidence, they realized something horrifying. You were no longer theirs to control. That smirk became a mirror, reflecting their own insignificance. It told them everything. They refused to admit that their insults don't pierce anymore, that their manipulation has expired, and that the version of you they could toy with no longer exists. It eats them alive, doesn't it? The idea that their words bounce off you now like bullets against armor. That smirk said, "Try harder." That smile whispered, "You don't matter anymore." And deep down they know it. They felt their own power drain the second you didn't flinch. Because power, my dear, has always been about reaction. And when you stop reacting, when you give them peace instead of chaos, you steal the throne right from under them. That little smile was your silent revolution. They walk around now replaying that moment in their minds, over and over, wondering what you meant, wondering if you knew, wondering how you could still look so calm after they tried to humiliate you. They didn't expect strength and serenity. They didn't expect you to weaponize silence. You broke the game the moment you stopped playing it. You burned the entire board just by not moving your piece. That's what they can't handle, that they built their entire identity around controlling you, and now you've rewritten the rules. You didn't need revenge. You didn't need words. You didn't even need to prove them wrong. That smile, that small, haunting smirk did it all. It spoke a language only the guilty understand. It said, "I see through you." It said, "You never stood a chance." Now they avoid your eyes. They can't stand looking at you for too long, because every glance feels like confession. They thought they could bury you under shame, but now they're the ones buried under regret. You've become the ghost that won't leave their conscience. Every time they close their eyes, they see that smile. That moment when they realized you were untouchable. When they realized the storm they tried to unleash only forged steel in your veins. And oh, how poetic it is, they thought they broke you, but they were merely sculpting your power. They thought they silenced you, but all they did was amplify your presence. They didn't realize that the calmest faces often hide the most dangerous minds. You're not angry anymore, and that's what scares them most, because anger, they can fight. Silence? No. Silence is unpredictable. It's the calm before a reckoning. It's the storm that doesn't announce itself. They call you cold now, detached, unfeeling, but that's just projection. What they really mean is they can't reach you anymore. They can't read you, can't wound you, can't make you bleed for their entertainment. You've ascended above their noise, and now they choke on it. That smile was your goodbye, not just to them, but to who you were when you cared, when you tried, when you explained. That person died the moment you smiled through the pain. They think you've changed, but the truth is, you've just awakened. The pain that once consumed you has turned into armor. Their insults, once wounds, are now war medals. And now you're the calm villain in their story, the one who doesn't need chaos to win, the one who simply exists, radiating power while they spiral in their own undoing. You've become everything they feared, unbothered, self-contained, radiant with quiet rage disguised as peace. It's funny, isn't it? They wanted to break you. Yet you're the one who broke the illusion. You revealed how weak they truly are, how fragile their ego becomes when they realize their control is gone. That smile was your declaration of independence. It said, "You can't touch me anymore." It said, "I'm done being your victim," and that terrifies them beyond words. They talk about you now like you're some kind of myth. They call you cold, ruthless, heartless, but those are just names they give to people they can't manipulate anymore. You're not heartless, you're healed. You're not ruthless, you're reborn. Every rumor they spread, every whisper they drop, every lie they tell, it's all fueled by fear. Because your strength exposes their weakness. Your composure makes their chaos visible. You've become their reminder that you can't destroy someone who has already walked through hell and come out smiling. That's what eats them alive every night. You smile because you've seen worse and they know it. Now they avoid your presence. They flinch at your calm. They smile awkwardly when your name is mentioned. Because behind every fake grin they give, there's a storm of regret they can't hide. You see, your silence humbles them, your peace punishes them, your growth embarrasses them. And that smile, that tiny, knowing curve on your lips, it's the crown they never wanted you to wear. Let them choke on their guilt. Let them wrestle with their sleepless nights. Because you didn't destroy them, you let them destroy themselves. You handed them the mirror, and now they can't stand what they see. They wanted to see you broken. Instead, they saw you unbothered. They wanted to see you beg. Instead, you smiled. They wanted a reaction. Instead, you gave them indifference, and that's what broke them. So now, when you walk into a room, everything stops. The air thickens. They can feel it, that aura, that quiet power, that ghost of their failure lingering behind your every step. You've become the lesson they'll never forget. The one they'll warn others about but secretly admire. The one they'll curse under their breath while secretly wishing they could be like. And every time they remember the way you smiled that day, they'll flinch a little. Because that smile wasn't just a reaction, it was a prophecy. A silent message that said, "You'll regret this." And now, every time they scroll through the remnants of your old conversations, every time they see a picture of you, or hear your name whispered in a crowded room, that smile echoes. It echoes louder than any scream, louder than any argument, louder than any goodbye. It's not a smile anymore, it's a memory that taunts them. It's the moment they realized they lost control. The moment they understood that the person they once dismissed as too soft had become something far beyond their reach. You see, your silence became the music they can't escape. It plays in their head when they try to sleep. It follows them into new relationships, new friendships, new crowds. Because no matter how much they try to move on, they can't forget the person who smiled through betrayal and turned pain into composure. They can't forget how you refused to fall apart when everyone expected you to. That smile, that was your revenge. Not through vengeance, not through violence, but through evolution. And now they watch you from afar, pretending not to care, pretending not to notice your glow. But they see it. Oh, they see it all. The way you walk differently now. The way your presence commands attention. The way people listen when you speak. They see the strength in your silence, the danger in your calm, and they whisper among themselves what happened to them. But you know what happened. You stopped bleeding for people who never would have handed you a bandage. They thought your kindness was weakness, your forgiveness was naivety. But all this time, it was strategy. You were watching, learning, transforming. You became the architect of your own redemption, and they became the architects of their own downfall. Every insult, every betrayal, every lie they told, it was just another brick in the empire you were quietly building. And now, from your throne of peace, you watch them stumble in the ruins of their own deceit. You don't even need to speak anymore. Your presence is enough. Your existence is proof that resilience is the most dangerous weapon. They can't compete with someone who doesn't play their games. They can't control someone who doesn't need their validation. That's why your peace feels like a punishment to them, because it's proof that they failed. They failed to break you. They failed to own you. They failed to matter. And yet, despite everything, you don't hate them. That's what drives them insane. You don't waste your breath on revenge or your energy on resentment. You've outgrown the battlefield entirely. You've evolved into something colder, sharper, a quiet storm wrapped in poise. They wanted you shattered, but you turned into ice, unbreakable, beautiful, deadly. So smile again, won't you? Not for them, but for yourself. Smile because you survived what was meant to destroy you. Smile because they'll never have that power again. Smile because every time you do, the ghosts of their guilt tremble. Because deep down, they know the truth that your peace is their punishment, and your smile is the reminder that the game is over and you won.